Bogarayanis, ach héad ceistela a cheachta Thomas Pringle.
Taoiseach, last Friday, the 23rd of June, your special advisor invited a constituent of mine involved in filing a new SIPO complaint about the undue influence of Uber and Deliveroo over public policy in for a meeting in the Department of Enterprise alongside two departmental officials. My constituent was accompanied by the General Secretary of the App Drivers and Couriers Union in the UK, Mr James Farrar, who recently turned down a £100,000 hush money payment as part of a settlement with Uber following a 5-year legal battle in the UK Supreme Court. During this meeting, they asked, among other things, which I have a full list of here, to 1. Follow the precedent set by the Spanish Government in increasing the number of legal working hours per week, so that those in Ireland on student visas are allowed to work from 20 to 30 hours as a cost of living measure that will protect them from exploitation and from having to work in the informal economy to afford to live in this country. Ensure that Stamp 2 and other visa holders can open delivery accounts in their own names legally and update departmental definitions to recognise that the type of work done by Deliveroo and Uber Eats riders in Ireland is not genuine self-employment, as envisaged under the current rules were made in 2010. It is clear that they are most definitely not conducting their own business here. Commit to the speedy introduction of a new €6 per delivery minimum payment or an €18 per hour minimum wage for delivery couriers, similar to the deal reached in New York City. Government should also ensure that payments can only increase in line with inflation and not decrease, as we have seen happen since 2019. Will you, as Leader of the Government, proactively ensure a reversal of recent trends towards slave wages here in Ireland that have seen minimum payments for deliveries fall from €4.39 in 2019 to €2.90 in 2021, and even as little as €1.30 and 36 cents per delivery in 2023? All while Deliveroo advertises free deliveries on billboards as part of Amazon Prime membership. Will your government follow the other examples by fixing the pay at least €6 per delivery or at least €18 per hour for this dangerous work and follow through on the other commitments given arising from your meetings with delivery workers and the representative on March 10, 2021 and June 23, 2023? Will you and your colleagues in government welcome and fully cooperate with the new SIPO, Garda Fraud Squad and Europol investigations into any potential undue influence and preferential treatment these platform companies may have enjoyed thus far at national and European level? And finally, will you support parliamentary inquiries at national and European level into the types of political influence these companies are trying to exert, especially after Deliveroo shareholders recently voted in favour of making political donations and incurring political costs for those parties and politicians that do their bidding?
Thanks very much, Deputy. I worked on this issue during my previous role as Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment and met with delivery riders and some of their representatives, trade union groups and others at my request, and also met with the main companies involved, or the main company involved rather. Under the auspices of the LEEF, we established a dedicated working group on the determination of employment status, which includes representatives from unions and employers. This working group has met 3 times and is now chaired by Minister Richmond. A revised code of practice on determining employment status was published in July of 2021 by the Minister for Social Protection. The code is the guidance document for employers and workers and others in relation to deciding the employment status of a worker. It was revised to take account of new labour market developments, including platform work. Of particular interest to the Deputy may be the fact that Ministers for Employment and Social Affairs agreed on a European general approach to a new European directive to improve working conditions for platform workers. The European Council is now ready to start negotiations on this with the European Parliament. And under the European Council's general approach, which Ireland supports, workers will be legally presumed to be employees of a digital platform, not self-employed, if their relationship fulfills certain criteria as set out in the directive. In relation to the issue of student visas, the rules in Ireland are that students are allowed to work 20 hours a week and no more. That is there to protect them from exploitation, Deputy, because we do want students to be studying for most of their time, not working for most of their time. We have work permits, we have work visas, which allow people to work a 48-hour week on average, but student visas are for students, and I don't want to see people coming here as students and ending up working full time and not being able to study.
Pringle.
Thanks. Well, maybe Taoiseach, you would recommend people, students here, not working for Deliveroo and so, because obviously they're being exploited, and the fact that they can only work a 20-hour week is what the factor that gives the company that right to exploit them. So maybe you make that call as well, which would be helpful. There is a new EU directive coming, and that will be useful, but that will take many years to actually go through fruition, be negotiated at the European Commission and stuff like that. There, surely we can do stuff here now at the moment that would make their lives better for those delivery workers. Taoiseach, in a letter delivered to you, addressed the 18th of May 2021, Deliveroo wrote, "As discussed at our meeting, Deliveroo is committed to working with you and your officials to find a solution. I note your comments that the Irish definitions of employment and self-employment are currently highly complex with different interpretations across multiple different departments. As you work through your plans to update and unify these definitions, Deliveroo is more than willing to provide information and evidence as necessary to provide a complete picture of how riders work. I also appreciate your comments in the meeting that your intent is not to undermine the ability of businesses like Deliveroo to operate." Taoiseach, is the Ireland's contribution to the new EU directive, is it made on behalf of workers' rights or is it made on behalf of Deliveroo?
Thanks, Deputy. As is always the case when it comes to any issue, we take into account a number of factors. So absolutely it is about workers' rights and making sure that the rights of workers are protected and that people have better pay terms and conditions and security. And as the person who brought in things like statutory sick pay, who begun the process of bringing in living wage for Ireland, who protected tips and gratuities as Minister, as a person who led a government that brought in paternity benefit and parental leave, I'd hope you'd accept my bona fides in that regard. There'll be few people in this House who can actually say that they've done more than that in the course of their political careers to improve the rights of workers. But we do have to take into account other things too. This is a service. These are services that people use to get takeaways, for example, delivered to their house. We don't want to shut that down. So we need to take into account the worker, the consumer, and of course the wider economic benefits for the state. In relation to the riders, one of the more interesting aspects of meeting the riders was to actually hear from them, not just their representatives or people who claim to represent them, and they did have different views. Some very much would like to have the status of an employee. Others said, and I remember the meeting well, said that I like this system of working because I don't want to have a boss, I don't want to be told what day I have to work, and I want to choose my own routes. So there are people who want flexible working like this and don't necessarily want to be employees.